Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another live. How are you? Good to have you on with us this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And here we go. Annette, your first one up this morning. How are you? I can see the light of my iPad. Nativity, Jordan, good morning to you. How are you? And Sandra and Brahim from Oregon. Nicole, how are you? John, Carrie, Nebraska. Brenda, how are you? Susan and Jennifer, Perry Sound. Dave, good morning to you. Jocelyn, Sturgeon Falls. Barbara, Nova Scotia. And Wendy said she missed me yesterday. Mark, how are you? Kim, good morning to you. Question and answer Friday. Micheline, bonjour. Aubrey, how are you? Marie from Alberta. Jennifer from Jumbotown, wait a minute. Ashley, good morning. Doris, Lucy, and Marie-José from New Brunswick. Moncton, good morning. Joy, Chantal from Ottawa. Shelley from Kansas. Good morning, Charles. Nick from our staff. Vanda, how are you, Vanda? P.I., good morning. We appreciate you. Monica from Granby, Quebec. Lisa and Maria and Cease from the Netherlands. Holy moly, good. It's probably good afternoon, isn't it? Katharina, Angela, Charlotte, Ruth Ann, a little frost and PEI this morning. Dan, how are you? Mary Jean, Connecticut. Charles, Vicky, and Deb from Timmins. Nice to be missed, Debbie. People are saying they missed me yesterday. Giselle, Shirley, good morning to you. Okay, see that little light coming in my eyes? That's just because I've got some questions here, and let's get going, okay? Let's get going. Louise asked a very good question. This is a very good question. Louise is asking, where do I get my calcium from if I do not eat cheese or dairy products? Well, there's calcium in steak. Did you know that, Louise? There's calcium in steak. Look at, if you insist on living on plants, you're going to get very little calcium. You'll get some, but not enough. How your body adapts to that is if you don't have enough calcium, your parathyroid glands, okay? Parathyroid, okay? Beside your thyroid gland. The parathyroid gland makes up missing calcium, and it will take it right out of your bones. See, this is why we always talk about osteoporosis is not a calcium thing per se, because your body, you usually eat enough calcium and your body will, it manages that properly. The problem is when becomes, if you don't eat enough calcium, and again, you know me, I'm not big on calcium supplements because, you know, usually you're getting enough calcium during the day. But the idea is that you're, just going to move this a little bit. The idea is that your parathyroid senses your body's calcium levels. If you don't have enough calcium, you need calcium. It will take it out of your bones. And the people that drink the most milk, for example, I'm not big on milk. You know that. I don't want you to ditch dairy. I want you to switch dairy. Now, Louise, if you don't consume dairy, some people can't. Some people can't. That's just the way they're built. They can't. Their gut can't take any kind of dairy. Well, then, you get your calcium from steak. You'll get calcium. Don't worry about calcium as much as you're absorbing it. That's why we love probiotics. That's why you need a good digestive tract so that you get your minerals that you're eating. But what controls that is the parathyroid gland. And if you're low, it will make it. If you're high in calcium, what does your body do? Well, when you eat butter, has vitamin K2, it'll take calcium out of the bloodstream and then put it back in your bone. Think about this for a minute. Think about this, Louise. In nature, okay? In nature, God gives you perfect foods in nature because you got all the calcium you want in cheese and in butter, very, very high sources of it. And then vitamin K2 is added to the mix. You see, when you eat a piece of cheese, yeah, you get calcium. Everybody knows that. A kid knows that almost. But the key is the vitamin K2 in the cheese and the butter that takes that calcium. You don't want calcium in your bloodstream. It'll harden your arteries. You don't want calcium staying in your bloodstream. It's not as deadly as sugar, of course. But it's meant to be eaten. Calcium is meant to be eaten. And vitamin K2 is the one that'll take the calcium and put it. So look, if you can't take a supplement, if you can't, dairy is one of the best. But remember, when you eat steak, when you eat eggs, there's calcium in that. Not quite as much as there is in butter and not quite as much as there is in cheese, but there's still some. And you get vitamin K2 in the animal kingdom. And vitamin K2, your parathyroid, if you don't have enough, and vitamin K2 to take the calcium out of your bloodstream. Okay, got that? Okay, good. Here we go. Let's look at question number 2. Gloria, I'm going to refer this, okay? I'm going to refer this to our private Facebook group, because here's your question. Is there an alternative drink to take prior to and in preparation for a colonoscopy? Well, that's never fun. What they want before a colonoscopy, if anybody's ever had that, they want you to go into complete diarrhea. They want to wipe out anything in the gut so they can have a look. If there's an alternative, I'm not sure. Okay, other than the mix that you get at the pharmacy or whatever, and it's horrible stuff. And Anyways, look, I'm going to refer that to our group in the private Facebook group. Would you guys answer that if you know an alternative? But at the end of the day, at a colonoscopy, this is something, and I think, Gloria, your problem was that it's full of sugar. Yeah, I didn't even look it up. But anyways, if there's an alternative, I don't know about it. Okay, and I always look at a colonoscopy, like that is it's like a surgery in a way. So, you're going to wipe out all your good bacteria and things like that. So just make sure you're getting enough probiotics and that, and you got to replenish that, triple up your doses for a couple of weeks just to get all that bacteria back in. Because that's what's going to be wiped out, okay? Darlene, is it true 10 foods to avoid for pancreas are processed fats. Avoid butter, organ meat, mayo, etc., because it increases pancreatic cancer. Well, Darlene, no. No. Well, look, think about this for a minute, okay? I just want you to think about this for a minute. Pancreatic cancer has increased in the last 20 years, 30 years, by 100-fold. I mean it. Pancreatic cancer was an old man's cancer. Never happened to women. It was an old man's cancer, pancreatic cancer, at one time. Deadly. And by the time they diagnose it, you're done like dinner. Okay? And I've been screaming this for a long, long time. The unintended consequences of this high fructose corn syrup, sugar, crappy carbohydrates is the cause of pancreatic cancer. You got it? Not fat, not meat, organ meat. Inuit, they don't get pancreatic cancer. As early as 1958, and it was required reading for me in my nutritional degrees, is observing the Inuit, the Eskimo, we used to call them. And it was amazing how little cancer, they didn't know what that is. Now, they died. They didn't have antibiotics or stuff like that, modern medicine, some of the wonderful things of modern medicine. But you know what I'm saying, guys? Guys, think about it. Your pancreas is insulin. And when you use it too much, you overuse it, you wear it out, and now you're much more susceptible to pancreatic cancer. It's sugar. It's not fat. That's the food industry. That is the pharmaceutical industry, who just want you to, cereal. Oh. So, Darlene, I know there's a lot of stuff on the internet. I know that. And I want you to filter that stuff. I don't care if you, of course, go look at it. When you read 10 foods that cause pancreatic cancer, well, you know what the way I teach here is I want you to think. Don't listen to all the propaganda. Think. What does your pancreas do? Oh, yeah, it releases. Its major job is to release insulin. When do you need lots of insulin? Oh, when you eat a lot of sugar. Hello? And guys, why? And then here's the way I think. If something wasn't there 40, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and it is here today in an epidemic type of thing, because pancreatic cancer, what's shocking about pancreatic cancer, because like I said, when I was in school, pancreatic cancer was an old man's disease. Only old men got it. It was quite rare. And now today they've had to rejig all of their medical books to say pancreatic cancer is one, it's not rare at all anymore. Well, okay, so if it was rare and it's not anymore, are we eating more meat than we used to? No, we're eating less meat than we used to. We're eating less. So, hello? Okay, that's the way my brain thinks. It's the way, okay, the world's changed, okay. Some things for good, but not all things. And I'm telling you, one of the worst man-made sugars is high fructose corn syrup. It's the antichrist of sugars. And I'm telling you, folks, it is bad sugar. Okay? So good question. Joanne, does chaga tea, have the same antioxidant benefits as Navitol with pine bark? Well, I think Joanne, if you don't know the answer, I'm going to give you the answer. You know me and pine bark extract. That is my number one go-to. I mean, my history, you look at my history, I'm a pine bark extract guy. I just have never found anything as good in terms of its antioxidant benefits, its nitric oxide benefits, its glutathione benefits. It's just the superstar of all antioxidants is pine bark extract. Guys, there is so much research on pine bark extract. It's incredible. And you go back to the days of Jacques. You know, for my American friends, that's part of our Canadian history. I mean, they had scurvy and they got, the men that didn't die were given pine bark extract as a tea. It was written up in Jacques Cartier's annals. He wrote about it. He said, man, oh man, like this pine bark, I don't know what it is, but we not only did my men were no longer dying, but holy moly, he said, we've never felt better. Well, listen, guys, I can tell you there's hundreds, and I mean this, hundreds of thousands of people. It's sort of like a well-kept secret pine bark extract in a sense, even though in Europe it's much bigger than it is in North America. You know, it is just a fabulous extract. And I'm telling you guys, okay? I'm telling you, it's fantastic. Okay. Back to the questions. Now, I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying chaga tea is no good. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's no good. It's good. I like chaga tea. Okay? You read the history of my grandfather. He made all sorts of teas with barks and mushrooms, and I mean, he was a guru. Way before there was gurus in natural medicine, was my grandfather. And, you know, he loved it all, including pine bark. Okay. Now, Alicia, my son is having trouble digesting chicken. Well, you know what? Remember what, Alicia, my little rule of thumb is, okay? Here's my rule of thumb. Everybody's different. You got a different fingerprint. Your son has a different fingerprint. And you know what? If he's got trouble digesting chicken, there's something in chicken that's bothering him. It's something, I'm trying to think what it might be, but it doesn't matter. No, one thing I would put your son on is probiotics, okay? Put him on some probiotics and see if that doesn't go away. But you know what? Some people, it's weird that they can't digest chicken. That's very rare. But if that's the case and he doesn't do well, you know, your body, be Dr. Mum, Alicia. Be Dr. Mum, okay? Because if your son has trouble digesting chicken, well, and you try and tweak a few things and he still has trouble digesting chicken, well, you know what? Him and chicken don't get along. And that's, you know, some people are just, that's the way they're built. And I don't make a federal case out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way you are. Like, I like broccoli, okay? I do. I have a grandson named Brock, and I call him broccoli. Okay, but I like broccoli. I do as a food. But you know what? It don't like me. I can't have a lot of it, and you know, it irritates my gut. And I got a good gut. But okay, you know, just the way it is for me. And that's what you got to figure out, Alicia, okay? Trying to explain it, I have trouble explaining it. Because if chicken was, was hard to digest, I mean, there'd be millions of women complaining because they love their chicken and salad. Okay, good question, though. Alicia, listen, we love the question. Mary Ellen, I'm taking 2 omega-3, okay, I like that. At the start of flu season, do I also need cod liver oil? Well, listen, Mary Ellen, as far as immune system goes, the cod liver oil you're not getting in omega-3 now, okay? Cod liver oil, and the reason for the immune system is cod liver oil specifically has good levels of vitamin A and vitamin D in it, okay, cod liver oil. The omega-3, generally fish oils, okay? I took my omega-3 high DHA this morning. That doesn't have vitamin A in it. It doesn't have vitamin D in it. Cod liver oil does. Remember, I got cod liver oil as a kid. I still remember the taste of it, okay? But I like cod liver oil. Now, can I just let you in, Mary Ellen, stay on your omega-3. Hopefully it's the high DHA. That's much better omega-3. And then take vitamin D, and you don't have to take cod liver oil. Eat your steak to get your vitamin A. Eat your eggs. Eat your cheese. Eat your butter, because that's where you get vitamin A. I want you to eat vitamin A. You don't have to take it as a supplement. But if you want to take some cod liver oil in the wintertime, I got no problem. But you're not going to get enough D just taking cod liver oil. What we know about vitamin D today, Viderma is really essential, okay? So, okay, I think I got a couple here, gallstones, ACO, and someone else was asking about gallstones. Okay, anyway. What is the gallstones? In the case of stones, they're already formed. Is surgery the only way to get rid of those? Nah, your body. Listen, if you change your diet, okay, you've been diagnosed with gallstones, and listen, just understand what I'm going to say here, okay? I'm just giving you some generalized advice for every individual. Look, you got stones, and it's bothering you. If the doctor says you need to take that out of there, like I'm not going to sit there, at the outside of the hospital and try and stop you from getting, look, sometimes gallbladders get so diseased, you don't want the stone getting caught in your duct. And that can be very dangerous, okay? So listen, I'm giving you generalized advice. So just understand that. And, okay? But here's what I find. The only reason you got gallbladder problems with stones is because you didn't use your gallbladder. Use it or lose it. Now, women are very susceptible to it, okay? For 2 reasons. One, they don't use it because they think fat makes them fat. So they avoid fat like the plague, okay? Generally, women. Generally. 2, women make a hormone called progesterone, okay? Progesterone, which is pro-baby, okay? It's their main hormone. Estrogen's not a woman's main hormone. Progesterone is, okay? Now, you need a balance between estrogen and progesterone. And let me just give you another way that a woman gets gallbladder problems. You know what progesterone does? It really helps your smooth muscle, okay? And your gallbladder is a little reservoir. It's a little sac made up of smooth muscle. So is your bladder, ladies. And when that goes down, when you have a baby, All of your progesterone is left in your placenta, all of it. But then your body, your ovaries start making more, but some women, they don't catch up. They get lots of estrogen, not enough progesterone. You know what happens? They can get gallbladder problems because that little smooth muscle is not working the way. And they get a perfect storm because usually they're not eating, they're not consuming enough healthy fat. You get healthy fat. Listen to what I'm going to say. How do you get healthy fat? From the animal kingdom. Eat your eggs, eat your meat, and eat your cheese. When you do that, you get a lot of healthy fat, and your gallbladder is a happy puppy because your gallbladder is meant to be used. It's meant to emulsify fat. But if you don't eat fat, fat-free. Oh, Dr. Martin, you know many years I heard this? Dr. Martin, I don't eat any fat. Well, that's stupid. Why wouldn't you eat fat? You need fat for your brain. You need fat for your heart. You need fat for your blood vessels. You need fat for your eyeballs. You need fat for everything. Why wouldn't you eat fat? You need fat. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, yeah. And you need animal fat because it's got cholesterol. Oh. Okay, good question. Sabina. Oh, hold on. Here's another one. I did Mary Ellen. Hold on. Chaga. Yep. Okay. Kimberly. Oh, Kimberly. Sorry, Kim. I was skipping over you. Can Dr. Martin discuss a low body temperature? Yeah, well, that's your thyroid usually. Your thermostat in your body is controlled by your thyroid. You get a sluggish thyroid. For some, that can go both ways, but a lot of women have low body temperature. Their thyroid isn't working. And let me answer this question because somebody else asked about thyroid this morning. Hold on, I got to go find it. Oh yeah, Monica, okay? So Monica asked, well, does the thyroid ever heal? Yes. But Monica, and hold on, let me just get this again. I better get going a little faster here because we'll never get done. Kimberly, Monica and Kimberly. Thyroid is, remember what I said about the thyroid? I've been saying this for years and years and years. The thyroid is a puppet. There's a lot of factors in the thyroid. Remember, you make a little teaspoon of thyroid hormone in a whole year. Your thyroid is extremely finicky. And if you got estrogen, progesterone problems, slows the thyroid down. You got adrenal problems, high cortisol, slows the conversion of T4 to T3. You got liver problems, slows the conversion of T4 to T3. Okay? There's so many factors that play with your thyroid. Your thyroid is a puppet. It's got a lot of strings attached to it. And that's why a lot of women, they have, oh, my blood work is normal, but I feel terrible. I got low body temperature. I'm not functioning properly. I look at food and gain weight. I don't do well, blah, 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 with my hair, my eyebrows, my skin, my nails, everything. Thyroid. But the reason medicine has missed the boat on the thyroid is because they developed in the 1970s. I was there. I saw them do it. They developed the TSH test. It was the test of all tests. And then the labs, medicine got hijacked by labs. They got hijacked by the labs. And so what happened? Oh, your thyroid is normal. Or we're going to give you, levothyroxine or whatever, and Synthroid or whatever, and you've got to stay on that the rest of your life. But they don't look at the other issues. They don't look at your adrenals. They don't look at your estrogen, progesterone. They don't look at your liver. They don't look at any of those things because they're not thinking. I hate to be negative. All they think of, oh, the lab. The lab. You know, my dad taught me something. Don't get hijacked by the labs. Think. Listen, Tony. Be Linda and listen. Listen, Tony, listen. Listen to your patients because they have inside information. So, you know, and I was taught to observe. My dad said, look at a patient when they come in. Look at them. Observe them. Oh, they got a little bit of this patch of hair loss. You ever notice that? You ever notice that? Go to the grocery store or whatever, and I'm always observing. It drives my wife crazy. Well, that woman, in my head, I'm going, that woman's got thyroid problems. How do I know that? Well, I saw her eyebrows. I was looking at her skin. I was looking at her hair. I was trained like that. It's observation. And I'm always interested in patients' inside information because they got inside information. They know how they feel. You know, patients, they know how they feel. Doc, I had patients bawling their eyes out after I told them. I said, well, your thyroid is sluggish. I knew it. Nobody would. My doctor. I know. You know how many times I heard that? 10,000. I don't think I'm exaggerating. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So guess what? We're never going to finish all these questions today because I'm just going off on my little tangents. Okay, let's just try and really... Sabina is saying, can Dr. Martin discuss sunspots or brown spots on the face after sun exposure? Yeah. And it's a pigment thing. Sun added to your skin, sometimes you're going to get some brown spots. I don't worry about them too much. I mean, it happens. It's part of aging, by the way. You get some sunspots or whatever, but those are, the advantages, okay? Because I know, I used to hear this all the time. I don't hear it quite as much anymore, but I still hear it once in a while. Women, again, usually actresses, they just don't get any sun. And dermatologists, stay out of the sun completely, otherwise it's going to age your skin. That is the farthest thing from the truth. You want a healthy skin? You need Viderma. You want a healthy immune system? You need Viderma. If you want to get a good sleep, you need Viderma. You want healthy bones? You need Viderma. Guys, there's nothing better than Viderma. Even for your skin. Now, don't overdo it. And don't put chemicals on your skin. Please. Avoid chemicals. Okay. Sabina, thanks for the question. Shirley, very smart. Listen to Shirley. She's smart. If your triglycerides are under 1 and your HDL is high, does that mean you no longer have fatty liver? Yeah. You want to have low triglycerides, fat balls. They come from your liver. And you want to have high HDL. True or false? True. And all of that process starts in the liver. Yep. You're exactly right, Shirley. Brenda, could tachycardia, okay, racing, or skipping of beats and that, caused by low CoQ10? Brenda, absolutely. Why do we see so much? Again, we never used to see a lot of tachycardia. Not that there's always been tachycardia, okay? But today it's like another epidemic. People just have, they have atrial fib, they have tachycardia, they have all sorts of problems with the rhythm of their heart. And you know what it is, baby? Is they don't eat enough meat. Red meat it elevates your CoQ10. You need vitamin S for CoQ10. CoQ10 works on the mitochondria of your muscles, and your heart is a muscle. When people tell you to avoid meat, they don't know what they're talking about. And I don't care what doctor ever tells you that. They just don't know what they are talking about. I'm sorry. I say it to you every day, and I don't apologize. I won't apologize for it. Yes, it can cause that. Louise, how do you get heel spurs? You got flat feet. It's your metatarsal arch, 9 out of 10 times. Start rolling a ball, get on our inflammation formula, but you don't get heel spurs for no other reason than you got footsie problems, and it's usually that metatarsal arch is flattened out. Okay? Can you talk about seizures? Why do people get them? Well, look, who knows? It's chemistry in the brain. Someone calls you fathead, take it as a compliment, okay? We see seizures, but there's other things, right? So there could be a lot of things, like a tumor can cause seizures and whatever. But one thing I'm going to tell you about seizures. You know the ketogenic diet? In children, this is why the ketogenic diet was developed in the 1920s for seizures. No carbs, all fat and protein, but fat. High-fat diet showed, you can Google this if you want, and even today at sick kids in Toronto, I know that for kids that get seizures, they often put them on the ketogenic diet. High-fat, low carbohydrate, okay? Very good question. And Kathy, I eat a low-carb diet. When wanting to cheat, what is better choice, to have a light dessert with Swerve or an apple? Well, look, an apple a day doesn't keep the doctor away anymore, okay? It doesn't. So, look, you want to have an apple, I would recommend, okay, because anybody that's had trouble with insulin, anyone that's had trouble with weight loss, you have trouble losing weight, don't live on apples, okay? It just, I was going to bring to you a story. What's that guy's name, the actor that played Steve Jobs in the movie Job? Ashton Kutcher? I can't remember his last name. I think it's Ashton somebody. He got so stinking sick making that movie, he almost died. Did you know that? He was hospitalized twice. He was trying to eat the first time, all he did for the first month was drink carrot juice. He got such an acute case of pancreatitis, he almost died. Did you know that? And then instead of learning a lesson, of course, the hospital would have never told him, oh, it's because you're drinking carrot juice. Second, then he went to eating grapes, okay? Because that's what Steve Jobs did. He lived on fruit. Why do you think he had Apple as the apple? He was the founder of Apple, right? And he was a fruit nut. Of course, he died of pancreatic cancer in his 50s. And like he used to tell people, well, this is the best way to eat. No, it's not. Now, to have the odd apple, go for it, guys, okay? Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But don't live on apples. Don't live on bananas. They're too sweet. We live in a different world. You don't live in the 1950s when I was a little boy. It's different today. People are consuming 200 pounds of sugar a year. So any sugars, even if it's natural fructose, be careful. Now a kid, you want to give, it's much better to give your kid an apple than to give them a chocolate bar. There's no comparison. But don't let them drink apple juice. Take that out of their diet completely. No orange juice, no apple juice, no juice. Smoothies. Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie with cream. But listen, again, I don't want to get into the weeds too much. But Kathy, look, I mean, if you're really trying not to cheat too much, I wouldn't have too much fruit. Have some berries, maybe an apple or two a week, okay? And then have your whipped cream with some swerve, which is, a natural sweetener. AJ, what does fatty tongue look like? That's a good question. How do you diagnose a fatty tongue? Well, we talked about a fatty tongue being the cause of sleep apnea, right? And somebody asked another question about sleep apnea. Elkie, can smoking cause sleep apnea? No, it doesn't. No, because sleep apnea, I'm telling you, you couldn't look up. We didn't have Google, of course, but when the days I was in school in the 70s, Elkie, there was no sleep apnea. I never saw it, never heard of it. And now it's an epidemic today because people have fatty tongue. How do you get a fatty tongue? Not from talking too much, because I'd have one, but from eating too much sugar and carbs. That's how you get a fatty tongue. That's what causes sleep apnea. And I rest my case. Okay? Meta, can changes in weather cause migraine? For some, yes. For some, barometric, I know it's going to rain outside type of thing. And, humidity really can affect some people and they get a migraine. But generally, when I unpack migraines, okay, who is asking? Meta. When I unpack migraines, usually there's hormonal issues. That's why women get them. Not that men can't get a migraine. They can. But women get migraines much more. And then I start looking at all their hormones. Because women get hormones, not hormones. You get a migraine, you got hormones. Okay? And I usually would fix the hormones and the migraines would go away. Estrogen dominance, sluggish thyroid, okay? Sometimes dehydration. They didn't realize they were dehydrated, okay? Good questions, Meta, okay? And hold on now, I answered that. Bobby, you and I are going to have a fight. No, it's not with you I'm going to have a fight with your reflexologist, okay? Because here's what Bobby says, okay? Bobby says, my reflexologist said that coffee is not good for us. Now, you want to get a migraine? You want to give Dr. Martin a migraine? Is tell me that coffee is not good for you. Now, brought to you by the Martin Clinic, and I say this in a little bit being facetious, but generally, I think you guys that have been following me for years, remember, I wrote my first book over 30 years ago. And guess what I had in there that was good for you? Coffee. Vitamin C, the real vitamin C, is coffee. So, Bobby, tell your reflexologist, I respect them. I do. Tell them they're smart, okay? But tell them they're wrong. And if they want to get 100 studies, I think they're up to 100, 200, 300 studies on coffee and the benefits. Coffee had a bad name years ago because they thought it was acidic. And they didn't realize that one of the ways of getting rid of uric acid is drinking coffee. I said that 40 years ago. You want to make yourself alkaline? Drink coffee. Why? Because when you drink it, your body's going to release sodium bicarbonate, baking soda. It is the greatest supplement. I take a supplement of coffee every day. You? I drink it. Now, don't put sugar in it. Otherwise, you ruin the experience. You ruin it. But, Bobby, you tell your reflexologist, if they would send me their email, I'll send them 100 studies. Okay? They're wrong. But I might not be able to change their mind because some people have this idea. You know, they're big on drinking green tea. Oh, green tea, that's the best thing. It's all right. I didn't say it was no good for you, but it don't beat coffee because it doesn't have the polyphenols. You know, they were talking about through this whole virus thing, how good quercetin is for you. I agree. It's very good. Drink your coffee, you're going to get quercetin. Yeah. Okay, I better get going because, yeah, there's some good questions here. I'll deal with these I will deal with these next week, okay? Now, next Wednesday, let me just give you a little bit of housekeeping. Next Wednesday night, 7 p.m., you can sign up for this. Tony Jr. and I together, okay? We plan on being together, are going to do a webinar. And you know what the webinar is? Question and answers. What's the topic? Questions. You ask the questions, we'll give you the answers, okay? That's next Wednesday night, 7 p.m., okay? You can sign up for the webinar. Spaces are limited, okay? And I just don't know if we want you to send the questions in ahead of time or whatever. I mean, we don't... Listen, I did a radio show for 20 years. It was live. I never got the questions ahead of time, okay? I don't mind the questions. We actually love that, okay? So that's next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Now, next week, okay, just because I got to do a little bit of traveling, Monday morning, okay, probably going to do an afternoon session on Monday, okay? An afternoon session, that's what I'm planning right now, is Monday an afternoon session, okay? Probably around 4 o'clock, okay? Some of you, that will make you unhappy, but I got to do some traveling. Next Thursday, probably the same thing, okay? But anyway, I'll let you know and we'll give you some heads up, okay? So next Wednesday, sign up for our question and answer with the brains of the family, Dr. Tony Martin Jr., okay? The brains of the family, and I mean that. You guys know that, okay? He's like his mother, okay? So, you guys have a great weekend. We love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon.